Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Terrence McNally's record-breaking hit comedy, It's Only a Play, which is directed by Jack O'Brien, welcomes new stars Martin Short, Katie Finneran, and Maulik Pancholy. They join original cast members Matthew Broderick, Stockard Channing, F. Murray Abraham, and Micah Stock. And I caught up with all of them here at Sardi's.
Mike Nichols taught me, he was a huge influence in my life. And but then he went back to New York, he phoned me the following Wednesday. He said, "I'm just here to say, dear boy, you must do it. And I'll tell you why." And he told me why, and I said, "Yes, sir."
He is like the smartest man in the room, Mike Nichols, right? Yes.
Smartest man in the room. And he had no vested interest other than he's very close friends with Jack O'Brien. And he was right.
What has it been,
as always.
Exactly. What has it been like stepping into this role? I love this play. I love Terrence's writing. Talk about this man you're playing and stepping into this show.
Well, I mean, it's a really phenomenal role, and it's a great kind of night that the audience hangs in the end of their seat, feeling they're part of the night. And there's certain great playwrights can capture that feeling. I'll be in Virginia Woolf, where you feel like, oh my God, we're there with that foursome. And in this case, the anxiety and the nervous anxiety in the air of waiting for the New York Times review and the opening night of a play is captured brilliantly.
Yeah, and working with this cast, because it's a new cast with the original cast, sort of like half and half, what that's been like and meant to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what's wonderful about the actors that are in this play is that they love being actors and they love actors. So they can totally relate to us newbies and trying to fit in and try to remember our lines and being scared. And they're just such a solid rock of support. It makes you feel very secure.
So I was asking Katie what she remembered from that first night on stage in this show. What do you remember about your first performance on stage in this?
The sensation of saying, I wonder what my next line is, I mean, really, that's what you're doing. You're kind of, because what happens is it's not even a question of whether you know your lines. It's a question of there's so many distractions. You can be anyone who memorizes a poem and know it inside out. But if suddenly a gunshot goes off there, you go, what? Oh, where was I? Well, an audience might laugh because you're not used to where they're going to laugh, or something might happen, and suddenly you're going, what? So there's always that anxiety. The more you do it, the more you calm.
And going into a hit show, everybody I've spoken to has gone into it and said it's so nice just to go into a show that's already a hit.
Well, the audience is affected by the vibe in the room. When you can be in a wonderful project, and if the New York Times doesn't like it, you still have to run it every night. And for the next 10 performances or so, the audience remembers and are affected by that review. And then after that, they forget about the review. And then they return to a land of neutrality. In this case, they're anxious and hanging on every word because they've been told it's a hit, as it is.
Because I've seen the show 3 times already, and just sitting in the house before the show begins is a show amongst itself. Everybody is so excited to be there.
Absolutely.
You must feel that energy.
You do, and they're so warm and receptive and so phenomenal. It's a joy.
I want to talk a little bit about your new book, Phenomenal, your autobiography. I told you I've read every autobiography that's been written, about a star. Just a beautiful, beautiful book. Tell me why you wanted to write it.
Oh, I think that, I lost my wife a couple years ago, and I think that and I'd lost my parents when I was 17 and 20. And in between that, there had been 40 years of a phenomenal, happy marriage and children and a career and friends. And then at 60, I found I was in the same situation at 20, which was trying to figure it out. And how do you get happy again? And how do you survive? And isn't this part of life? And suddenly I went, aha, there's a book.
Well, it's a beautiful book.
Thank you.
If you could sum up the best part of being back on Broadway so far for you, Marty, what has it been so far?
I think it's the audiences, and they hang with the actors.
Well, talk to me about your new cast. This is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's thrilling. Martin Short I've known for many years, never worked with, and he plopped into our show, so it's very exciting. Katie also I've known a long time, never worked with. You know, Maulik is new to me, but yeah, I've never done a play where the whole cast changed overnight.
No, I love this because half your cast is the originals when you've done like hundreds of performances, and now you have this new group. Is it sort of like a new play?
Yeah, it is, and I'm still learning it. I did it. I got sick. I'm still sick. I have a cold, and I missed a bunch of shows, but they all got warmed up and did a bunch of shows, and I came back into this show and didn't really recognize anybody. But so now I'm trying to catch up again. Hopefully go back in tonight and see what, it's like the character changes because my best friend is somebody different now, so I must be a different person, and I hired a different director to direct my play, a different producer, so I have to be willing to be different. So I got to rethink this somehow. I'm still working it out.
The last time you and I spoke was opening night. Nobody knew what was going to happen. The reviews hadn't come out.
Yeah.
You guys are the hottest ticket in town. I mean, 1,200 people a night are having the time of their life at this show. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's great. I mean, I'd be lying if it's wonderful. It's been crowded since we started. No, that's good. Yeah.
Knock on Liza.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, it's great. It's also just to hear them, the audience, be so kind of enthusiastic. They're very forgiving and in a happy mood when they're there, which is a nice thing. I mean, most of them. I know there are some people out there who don't like it, but mostly the feeling is very, very good. It's like a show. We have this small little show business party on stage, and then we have this. There's a big party out there, and we're all together out there. We get a lot of energy from them.
My final question for you is, if you could sum up the best part of this experience with working on this play, what's it been for you, Matthew?
Well, it's I don't know the best thing. It's been worth all these months. It seems to keep getting more interesting and better, and that's not always the case. So that's been nice to learn. I learn more about the play as I do it. Getting to know Terrence McNally, I think, and Jack O'Brien. I had never worked with either of them. I had met them, but Nathan, of course, I already knew and loved. But meeting those two and working so intimately with them, I think that's this. Now I'm leaving out Soccer Channing, which is I also feel, and F. Murray Abraham, and it's the people. That's what's been really most exciting.
How much fun, the last time you and I spoke was opening night, and no one had any idea. It's the biggest hit in town. You can't steal a seat to the show. 1,200 people laugh every night. What is it like for you doing this show, Stalker?
It's exhilarating. It's fun. It's just fun. And it's fun to watch these people laugh their butts off and, have such a great time. Yeah.
You play one of the zaniest characters. Tell me what you love about her and Terrence's writing.
Well, I didn't know how crazy she was going to get until in rehearsal, until we got in front of an audience and how far I could push it, and until I realized that the more in pain she was, the funnier she was, because it's so genuine. And she starts out with great self-destructive bravura, by myself, thinking that she's on top of the world and screw everybody else for me, and ends up in a puddle by the end of almost the end of the play. And then she, like everybody else, picks themselves up and pulls herself together and becomes like a phoenix rising from the ashes at the very end. But as they all do, and I think it's sort of great. But I don't think I realized how crazy she was, because I was just saying the lines like it was real in rehearsal, and then I hear audiences sort of gasp and go crazy and everything, and I don't believe what she just said, because to me people talk like that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Terrence is such a brilliant writer. I was talking to Murray. Murray's known him for a long, long time, and he says every time I auditioned for Terrence, I always felt like he was writing for me, because he writes for actors. Talk about Terrence's writing and what he's written for you.
Well, he did rewrite this. He did ask me to do it, and in the course of rehearsal, definitely it was, I suppose, a combination of me. I'm definitely not this character. Me, and what I was, and her, because she started to emerge emerge in rehearsals. So it's an ongoing sort of daily process, but we have been wanting to work together from scratch, if you will, for all these many years. I've known him almost as long as Murray has. But the only time I really got close was when I went in for Liza in the Rink. And also I did adaptation next, a million years ago. But I did the other play. I did the Elaine May play. There you go. So, but we've known each other all these years and we always wanted to work together. So I was really happy that when I read this and I realized, I'm glad he thought of me for this, because not everybody would have necessarily. And Jack O'Brien said to me, no one's seen you do this. I probably haven't done this kind of work since House of Blue Leaves, that big, full-out, crazy, sometimes very physical kind of comedy, and it's been fun to be back.
And working with your friend Jack O'Brien, one of the finest directors, what it's been like working with him again?
Well, he's also one of my best friends, so, but we have worked together several times, so we know how to do it and everything, but, and he and Terrence sort of worked together a million times, so it's part of, and then of course Nathan, was worked, so there's a kind of a family feeling from the beginning of people being very familiar with each other and laughing together and this, that, and the other, so it's hard to define that, it's just that it works, so the communication's that clear. You really know how to talk to each other.
Sure. And now you have this new family. It's sort of like half old, half new. What it's been like working with this new group of actors?
I think it's very healthy to have the same material be approached in a different way. It sort of fluffs the pillows, which is good. Not that the pillows were flat. The pillows were not flat. But I don't know. I'm really... it's early days. We've only done like 6-7 performances together, but it's pretty much we understand each other. We know as little edges get polished off where it's going to go. There's been no great surprises, nor has there been sort of any traumas. So then just work.
My final question is, if you could sum up the best part of the experience with working on this play so far, what has it been for you, Stockard?
It's wonderful to be in a hit. It really is. And the audience arrives not sitting back saying, is this going to be they want to have a good time. And they've heard the buzz. Now our job is to give them as good a time as they've heard they're going to have. And that's something to live up to, but we're pretty good at that. But that initial buzz of enthusiasm, that wave surfaces up. And I love riding those big waves because it's exhilarating.
Last time you and I spoke was opening night. No one had any idea you had become the hottest ticket in town, entertaining, 1,200 people a night.
Great.
Tell me what it's been like for you.
Well, it's like what every actor wants to happen. The idea that we can make people laugh and have a success, that's great. I'd rather make people laugh than anything.
And being in your friend's play, talk about your friendship with Terrence McNally and Jack O'Brien.
Terrence McNally is my soul and inspiration. I've done more plays of his than any other actor for over 40 years. What can I tell you? He's a good friend.
What do you admire about him as a writer?
He writes for actors. Terrence McNally writes for actors. He knows how to make something work in their mouths. It's the first time I ever read his stuff. When I auditioned, the first time I ever auditioned for Terrence McNally, I felt like he was writing for me. He didn't know who I was. That's how I feel about him. And many actors feel the same way. Nathan Lane will tell you the same thing.
And Murray, working with this cast, it's incredible. It's like half a new cast, half an old cast. What's it been like?
It's great. It gives you a chance to polish things up, re-examine things. You got to, because you never know where it's going to go. Our rehearsal is really on stage in front of an audience. That's thrilling. Because you screw up, and in fact, finally, it's only a play.
What was it like rehearsing this again? I spoke to Matthew and they were saying it was almost like looking at it as a new play because the rhythms are all different now with new people.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. You shouldn't be locked into the old rhythms. And that's a tribute to the cast, who are really pros. They're willing to take things as they come and not freeze things. These are professionals.
And what you love about this great role that was written for you? I love the man that you play. What do you love about him?
I'll tell you something. The way Terrence writes, I would be ready to play every single role in this show, except Matthew's. That's Matthew's part. The women, I'd be glad to do it. I'd like to do Stockard's part if I ever had a chance. That's funny.
Sure.
Thanks.
If you could sum up the best part of the experience of working on this show for you, what has it been for you so far, Murray?
The best thing about this experience is working with this bunch of people. And to hear people laugh like this, I haven't heard that in years. And these days, we could all use a good laugh. Don't you think we get a good laugh?
You are making your Broadway debut. Is it surreal?
Yeah, it is surreal. I mean, it's like, first of all, to be on Broadway at all, which is just such a dream come true, but then to be on Broadway in this show with this cast, I mean, it's so rare that you get to walk into a hit. Like, you know it's going to be great. So that's very exciting, yeah.
Speaking to Micah was like, Richie, my whole career is going to be downhill from this. It doesn't get any better than this with all the incredible people I'm working with.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's a sense of that. You know, like, even having done 30 Rock for so long, like, there was a sense of, like, when will the writing ever be as good as, like, The Gift of Tina Fey. And now with this play, it's like Terrence McNally has crafted such an amazing play, and Jack O'Brien and this cast, it'll be hard to find the next thing. Maybe we'll just do this forever. Who knows?
It's only a play, running forever. It should.
Exactly. It's like Cats. It never ends.
Now and forever. What's it been like working with the cast? I mean, it's sort of newbies with the original cast?
Yeah, it's been amazing. You know, obviously, Marty and Katie and I had a lot of time, just the three of us, getting up to speed to join the rest of the cast, and I think the three of us gelled really well, and then we brought what we brought to this existing group, and they all are so supportive and loving, and we're finding stuff together, and you know, it's like, it's the thing of you're stepping into an existing structure, but you're also making it your own, and everyone's very supportive of that, and so it's been really fun.
What do you remember about your first performance on stage in this?
Not much. I remember bright lights. I remember like very loud voices. No, I remember hearing the audience laugh for the first time and saying like, "Oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay." And it was sort of remarkable how with the play the audience is, and so it was a trip. Very exciting.
Is he a fun role to play? He must be.
Super fun. He's very dark. You know, he's got a lot of demons that he's battling in the play. So there's the sense of keeping all that really real within the frame of this sort of heightened comedy world that we're in. But super fun, and also just to get to share dynamics with people like Martin Short and Matthew Broderick and joke around with them on stage. It's pretty awesome.
Being on Broadway, it's got to be the coolest thing. So you walk down the street, you see the marquee, your name is up there, your picture. What goes through your mind?
Oh, I feel like I'm a 5-year-old. I literally feel like I'm like that kid who knew he wanted to be an actor but didn't really know why, and it's like every time I walk through the stage door, it's super, super exciting. I'm really happy to be here.
Congratulations, welcome back to Broadway. How does it feel?
It feels so great. It's like home. It's so great. What's great about it is this play is, Terrence McNally has written this play that is such an inside look. It's so personal. It's so vulnerable. It's what we all think and say and breathe and feel after every show we do on Broadway. And he's made it accessible for people, the public, to come and see. And they join the ride and they're having the best time. So it's quite an extraordinary experience. And it's great to be in a hit. Come into a hit and not have to worry. I don't have any pressure. There's no pressure. I just have to tell the story. So it's great.
That must be great.
Thrilling. You kidding?
And playing this woman, what a great role. Talk about her.
So much fun. It's so much fun. What I love about her is that she's just so enthusiastic and so positive and so wants to be a part of this group and isn't really, but is, because she's providing for these people to do what they love. And I love that she kind of misses the mark, but they need her, so they include her, and I love the character so much.
And working with this cast, I love it that it's half original, half new.
So great, so great. I've said this once before, but it's sort of like being on stage with the best doctors in the world. If you have an ailment, like if you have a laugh that you don't get, I'm like, Marty, why didn't I get what? Why didn't I get that laugh? Or Stockard, why didn't I get that? You have to be louder. It's like everybody knows exactly what to do to make the story fly and to help you through the show. It's great fun.
Now, Micah told me he met you up at Williamstown and talked to you.
There, I know. He was working at Williamstown when I think he was an intern, right? Yeah, he was an intern. How beautiful was he? When I first saw the show, I came backstage with no intention of knowing that I would ever be in it, but I saw him and I was like, you are such a star. He's such a star. What, I mean, just one of those people you're just thrilled to see for the first time.
What do you remember about your first night on stage in this show? What do you remember?
Looking at Marty and going, okay, where do we go next? Which way? Is it this way? I don't know. What happens next? Literally, on stage. Marty, I think you're over there. You're over there. go that way. So that's what I remember. We still do that, but yeah.
I love it. Do you remember your bow that night and what you were thinking?
We did it. We must have told the story because they stood up at the end, so we must have told it the right way. So that's what I remember.
Well, first of all, congratulations. How cool is this? A new cast.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and we're happy to have them.
So, Michael, what has this past week been like for you? Because you guys, it's not even been a full week yet, has it?
We did a full week of performances last week, and we're going into our second week. And it's great. It's really re-energizing, and we're just finding new rhythms and sort of all copulating to find, a new play within a play that some of us have been doing for a while. So.
The last time you and I spoke was opening night. Nobody knew. This has become the hottest ticket in town, the biggest hit. What have the past few months been like for you?
I mean, I feel really spoiled, I mean, every day here is a first for me, and I felt so lucky just to have been a part of the show, and now that we've been doing it for a while, and it continues to be as well received as it is, and we continue to make 1,200 people laugh every night. It's astounding to me, and it's all downhill from here.
This is the best it gets for you, right?
I think so. I think this is the last you'll hear. I'll be on 8th Avenue somewhere, singing and dancing.
Well, that won't be bad either. You were so wonderful in the show. Just talk about this wonderful role that Terrence has created and what you love about the play itself.
Oh, man. I think that Gus is, his heart is so huge, and that's something that Terrence brings to all of his characters, no matter how selfish or egotistical they are, they all have these huge, big candy hearts at the center. And Gus especially, he just wears it right on his sleeve. And it's been a joy to spend time with him every night. Yeah.
And working with Jack O'Brien, your director.
Yeah, Jack, he's a luminary, and he's witty and brilliant, and he continues to find new things in the play. He helps us keep it fresh. We've gone back into rehearsals with the new cast, and it feels like the first day of rehearsal again. It's a great energy.
Does it feel like a new play? Because a lot of you had done the show over 140 times or whatever, and now you have brand new cast members. Half the cast is new.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to Terrence's writing and to this play especially that it attracts people of the caliber that are in this cast, and that it allows for different personalities and different energies to kind of take over and put their own stamp on it.
So let's talk about your new cast members in the show. Talk a little bit about Martin Short, talk about Katie.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. So I was an apprentice at Williamstown Theater Festival in 2009 when I first saw Katie Finneran. She did 2 shows there that summer, and I was just a huge fanboy of hers. She was brilliant. She did an A.R. Gurney play, and then this farce from the 1920s called The Torchbearers, and she was hysterical and brilliant and touching, and I remember going up and she'll never remember this, but I remember going up and talking to her, and she was so sweet, and so I've watched her over the years, and getting the opportunity to work with her is, she's a master comedian, and she backs all that up with heart. Marty, of course, I watched my entire life, and he's so kind, and he is constantly on. We're backstage. We laugh more, backstage than maybe the audience laughs. I don't know. But he's deeply kind and hysterical, as everyone knows, and he actually brings a great deal of pathos to the role. And Maulik is such a nice guy, and we, I was a fan of his because of 30 Rock, and it's been really great to get to know him as, in a very different role.